And welcome to Design It with Tammy Gibbs. I'm Tammy, and I'm excited to share with you a new video on Artistly 4. Today, I'm going to be exploring with you the mirror magic feature inside of Artistly. This is a very cool feature. It's not great for everything, but definitely has its applications. And I'm sure it's going to improve over time. And we're going to talk about the right ways to use it and what I feel like are the wrong ways to use it. And let's jump in. So we're here on at the dashboard of Artistly. If you don't have it, and you're just looking to see if you want to get purchase this program, then you're going to learn a lot. Okay. So I also have some beginner videos that might be helpful for you to get just a feel for the program. So be sure and look for those as well. You do need to be looking at this point in for videos for version 4 or um, later versions because I'm not sure when you'll be watching this. So they may have new versions out. So anyway, this one is for version 4. We're going to go into create a design, which is where everything starts. Okay, so now that we're inside, we're going to choose our designer and we're going to choose the Fast AI Image Designer because it offers a lot of different, if you look across this bar, excuse me, if you look across the bar up here, you'll see it has a lot of different options and you can even scroll over farther because they have so many it won't even fit on, you know, up at top. You have to scroll. So what we're going to do is we're going to be working with this Perfect Text and Hands designer, but for now I'm going to go over and kind of just show you. Okay, so I'm going to go into one of my folders. Um, I did a little preliminary work on this one. I'm still not scripted, but I have started doing a little bit of homework ahead of time just to kind of save a little bit of time so that I can put the videos out a little quicker. Okay, so this is something I started on this morning. So I'm going to show you basically. I'm going to show you where the image came from or what the original image looked like. And as you'll notice, these two and these two rows basically started from like a photograph. And then you can see the transformation as I worked this way to get our final clip art because I'm wanting to get clip art out of the Mirror Magic. And you might say, well, why didn't we just start with an illustration? I have found that it does a little bit better with photographs and then you can tweak it. Some illustrations have turned out okay, so I would say explore it for sure. But I've had better luck with it coming up with a realistic reimagination of a photograph than I have actual illustration. So it's still struggling a little bit. They're still working on it. I'm not worried about them getting it there. This is just what you can use until they do. Okay, so let me go in and I'm going to show you the image that I started with. And it was this image right here. So, just make it a little bit bigger here. So this is the image I found and that I used as inspiration. And I found it on a site called Pixabay. We can go to photos and we're just going to scroll down and you can see different images. Now, these are free stock photos. Now, I'm going to warn you. I used to use them a lot and think, oh, well, they're free and it's a free database and I can use whatever I want to, which they do say that you can. However, there are instances where perhaps something gets uploaded that is not uploaded by the actual owner, so you do put yourself at risk. That's why basically most of my art now is done on Artistly. I mean, whether it's a photograph I need for a blog post or whether it's my clip art or something for a book, an ebook, I'm going to generate it from a place that I know, or either I'm going to buy the stock image or something like that. And this is where I want to have the conversation with you about what I feel like are the proper uses of the mirror magic and what are not. And this is getting into my personal beliefs as an author, as a published. I'm a published romance author, in case you didn't know that. I'm not sure that I've even mentioned it before, but anyway, I am published as a romance author. So coming from a real creative side and realizing the legitimate concerns that traditional artists and writers have with AI. I think as to use AI responsibly is what we should be doing. We should be finding ways. It is a tool and we can use it to be creative, but we do not need to be copying other people's work to the degree that we're just basically stealing it. I mean, if we tell the AI can go out and get us a Batman image, but if we go and um, we try to sell that image, that's wrong. It's against trademark. It's against copyright, all these rights that people have in their work, and it can get you in serious trouble. So try to think outside the box. If you want to do comics, create your own comic, create your own genuine um, character. You're going to go a lot farther with creating your own character than ripping somebody else's off. Just the way it is. But anyway, so mirror magic also allows you to go in and, you can use inspirational images. Okay. So since it is a reimagining, then if I'm going to reimagine something, I'm going to get it from at least one of these sites like this because mainly what I'm doing with it is I'm going to try and change it. It's not going to look exactly like that image, regardless of whether it's from a free stock site or anywhere else. I just personally will go and either use my own photographs for inspiration, or either I will get them off of, a free stock place where it allows me to openly download it and do that. And they do actually on these sites, if you'll notice, they identify, like this is the image I used. So it allows you to, you can like it, you can save it, you can download it. This is the person that, has their little note and it says, please use my photos with respect. Follow Pixabay's guidance. Do not redistribute or sell Pixabay content on other stock or wallpaper platforms. So, taking this image and then uploading it on a stock image site where you're going to sell that photograph is part of, it's saying please don't do that. Do not redistribute or sell on other stock or wallpaper platforms because that infringes on what they want you to be allowed to do. This shows how many times it's been downloaded and the details. But since I'm wanting to make clip art with it, and I'm assuming that this person is the actual person that took this photograph and that it belongs to them. That is an assumption, but it's a better assumption than going somewhere and grabbing an image that you don't have rights to use. So that's just kind of a way of just some thoughts on where you should be going with your art, or where I'm going with my art is a better way to say it. So be creative. So we can go into um, Pixabay and we can search for, let's just say, flowers. And then it's going to come up. Now, these across the top are those that are sponsored, you have to pay for. And then below, you'll find all sorts of different images that you can, like this one. looks like it might would be a good option. So I'm going to download it. And it actually does allow you that you can, donate to this person. Um, so we're going to go back and now we're going to go up and I'm going to walk you through what I do. Go into Perfect Text and Hands Designer, go to the Create from Prompt, go to Mirror Magic. Then we're going to find that image here and we're going to let it describe it. Okay. All right. So we're going to use the prompt and I'm going to select private's fine. The folder, I'm just going to do Mirror Magic because that's where I'm putting these for my test images. So we're going to generate this image. Now, typically, if you're going from a photograph to photograph, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get a photographic reimagining of that image. And I will say that it is a little bit slower doing it inside that. Okay, so this is the image it reimagined, which it's not exactly. We're going to do it one more time and see if we get, um, if you want to look, this is what it was before. So it was, it didn't do as good a job with that one as what it did with the tulips, but let's just try it again. And unfortunately, you cannot do the 4 images at a time when you use this particular designer. But it's still not done it. But we're gonna move forward because you can play with it and you can pick your images. Like I said, some are gonna work a little bit better than others. So what I'm gonna do is go into regenerate again, and now I'm gonna start working with it. Okay, the background's okay because that should be easy to separate from the image itself. And then we're going to look and see what we can change about it. And right here, we could actually substitute the type of flower that it is. So let's see if it actually, does it tell us anywhere? Let me just go back and see. Cowslip. Let's just plug that in and see if that works. Cowslip. Let's try that and see if we get closer to the image. But one thing that I have found and discovered is there are a lot of really neat, well, it still didn't do it exactly right. So I'm going to move on with this one and show you what I would do if I wanted to use this for clip art. And this may look like a lot of trouble, and most of my clip art packs are not super duper easy wheezy. For the most part, to get a whole pack of clip art, you first have to refine that prompt, and then it goes a lot faster. But the refining part is going to take a little bit of time. So, anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here and I'm going to go into, I'm going to do this and add it right to the beginning because it's going to tell it that now we don't want it to be a photograph. We want it to be um, a watercolor, okay? And then I'm going to go and pull this and put it right behind it because this is just a combination that I found works for me with florals a lot of times. Um, okay. And then we're gonna try it again just to see what we get. And it should be coming up quickly. There we go. So now we have an image we could work with. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and download this. You see the difference between it though? And then we're going to take it over here to my pixel cut. I'm going to go back. It's just one image, so I'm not even logging in. I'm just going to choose it. Take this, and then we're going to try to get the background removed on this and see if we get a piece of clip art we could use. See how cool that is? And that was literally came from, it doesn't look exactly like the image that we did, but it gave us a really great piece of clip art. And we could take and also upscale this one. Upscale it. I can do 4x because I'm a pro member. I'm not sure if they let you do that for free. But anyway, I'm going to download that one because that one's really cute. Okay, so let's go back in and see if we can find another image that would be interesting. Um, make an interesting piece of clip art. What about this one? Let's see what we can do with that. This one. Okay, so we're going to download it. It's pretty. And then we're going to go back in to Perfect Text and Hand Designer. We're going to mirror it again. I'm going to take this one. Now, just so you know, most of my clip art up until this point, I haven't used Mirror Magic very much, but I probably see using it in the future to get ideas and to possibly start with something because I like to start with something and then I go in and I change all the things up and kind of create it and make it into mine. So here we're going to generate this image and see what we get. But this is actually a very wonderful feature. If you're a blogger out there, oh my gosh, Mirror Magic is going to be your best friend if you can't seem to get certain things right. If you want a desk, if you want an image of a garden or something like that, then you can go in, you can make it watercolor so it looks more like an illustration. You can make it like a photo. I mean, there's just so many things that you can do. Okay, so we've got a really pretty image here. We're going to go back into regenerate, and then we're going to go grab those from volume 2 in my playbook. We're going to grab this one first. We're going to put it right here. Now, I use different ones. This is just simpler just to go back and use the same one since we're just right here on this page. And it works for the most part. So now we're going to paste that one there, generate it. And then we can also go in, I would probably adapt and go change the colors. I might make one that is well, I'll just show you. We're going to work probably with this one because I think this one's going to turn out really pretty. I would want to go back in and make where the lily pads are centered and, have the white space around them so you get the lily pads as well, if I were going to actually sell it. But for now, we're just looking at how we can see how pretty that is. That's very pretty. Okay, so we're going to now try to do a little bit more tweaking. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put down here, I'm going to look for anything that says about a background. I don't really see serene and vibrant water lily. Okay, so I don't really see anything that talks about the background, so it's just creating the background. So I'm going to put isolated against a white background with negative, surrounded by negative space. Okay, so that's where we're going to go with that. And we're going to see if we can isolate it a little bit more. And then we're going to start really playing with it. We're going to try to, now this one, I'm not sure. We may be able to get an image out of it with that background. We can take it in and try it. Okay, image. Okay, let's try removing the background and see what it gives us. It just may not because of the, oh, it actually did. It actually did a really good. It took away the lily pads, but that's still a very cool image that you definitely could use. So I'm going to upscale it now. Now, this is the only time when you're doing one-on-one, it'll let you do both without having to download and upload. But when you do bulk on Pixel Cut, it will not. So, but anyway, so that actually turned out so much better than I thought. And you can see how very cool that is. Very cool. What a neat feature. Oh, and this is, okay, it took away some. It gave us another really cute image. I'm not sure that this one will be able to, it still gave us a little bit of that wash behind it, which is pretty still. You could definitely still use it, but we're going to download it and see if we can remove that background. Let's see. I don't know that it will. It'd be great if it did because you'd have the lily pads and everything, but I don't know if it'll take the wash off or not. Yeah, a lot of times when it has a wash like this, it won't. It'll take everything else away. I mean, I would, like I said, still probably use it, but we're going to have to try to go back in and try to um, tweak it a little bit more. So I'm just going to do this real quick so that I have a usable image. I'm going to download it. Okay. All right. So we're going to go back in. We're going to go to this one and we're going to regenerate. Okay, so pigments. Okay, the outermost level modeled effect. Okay, I'm going to remove this. I think it's not talking about the flower. We're just going to see how that does. Oh, okay, never mind. I found where it is. Soft blurred green. Okay. So the water lily is situated atop a bed of large dark greens, which provide light. The leaves are speckled. Okay, the background, we don't want that. Okay, let's remove that. I didn't go down far enough before. Okay, let's try it now with those tweaks. Because what happens is once you do get that image that like you like it, then you can create multiples, that are gonna making small tweaks like color or whatever. And then you could create a pack or whatever. Now, I'm not sure I would do one just of water lilies, but they're very pretty. And they would really be pretty to maybe pair with like, okay, so we did get one and it is isolated. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to regenerate that a couple of times and see what it gives us. That should be an image that, and I can, now that you don't have to make them private and everything, even though you have to do it that way, you can still do multiples or whatever. Now, another thing you can try is to copy. I do this just to see, just to test it and see what kind of other images we can get. And you can actually go into the AI image designer, which is the fast mode, paste it in, and then also generate from that prompt. This is neat. Okay. From that prompt just to see what it looks like. Sometimes they just don't transfer and do well because that designer does a certain look. Okay. So we've got this, and that's not too bad. You know, I would play with it more, and I probably could get a really decent little pack out of that. I don't have time to do that right here in front of you. So we're going to go back in here, and now we're going to go back into regenerate again. And now we're going to start making some playbook changes. Okay. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to go up here to back to the table of contents, and we're going to start looking for like the drawn and sketch kind, kind of look. Okay. So we're going to look for watercolor pencil effect. And let's add that in. We're going to try adding it to the end. We just want a different look. And that's where the playbook comes in, adding different, taking the same prompt and being able to generate multiple different types of looks and different, therefore, different clip art packs or, using those images in different applications. For instance, if you were going to do note cards or something, having a really hand-drawn look as opposed to this, more watercolory looks. Okay, so this one, very pretty. That's a very pretty effect on it. Very pretty. So let's keep adding, and we're going to go back to the beginning here. We're going to go to, this is volume 2 I'm working with. And we're going to, let's see, we're going to add this rough pencil strokes for the oh wait, let's do this. Let's do the fine ink outlines. Let's try this one first and see what kind of look we get. I think that might, I'm going to put this one in the front. And this is where my Mod Podge, my mixture of how I get some really cool looks, just remarkable looks, really. And they come from places you would not even imagine. I mean, literally, you can get as crazy with the playbook as you want. I mean, I'm doing textured things. Like I just put out 2 packs. One was some seals and one was like some whales. And they are so cool. Oh, that's a nice look. See how it changes though, the look of it? Okay, now we're going to go in. Whoops. We're going to regenerate this and we're going to go to this and we're going to change it now for that rough look, rough pencil look. Let's see what we get. This is where all the real fun happens, is when you can really just play with it until you get the look that you're wanting. But back to my whales. My whales turned out so good. I mean, literally, they have a texture look to them. I mean, they still are watercolor and they still have that element to them, but then they have some texture to them and really neat design elements. That's when I'm proudest, I guess, of what I'm doing and when I feel the best about using AI. Because, like I said, it's okay. So, see, how cool is that? Very neat. And would be absolutely gorgeous on note cards or, really you could use it for all kinds of things. So, just very, very, and that's the difference between them. You've got the rough look You've got the more the fine line look, all the way going back to the just general watercolor looks down here. Um, every one is a little bit different. So let's go really dramatic with it. So we're gonna go into the playbook, um, the first volume, and then we're going to do something even crazier. Let's go up to I think it's 3. Yep. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to go into some of these other art styles. So let's go into street and art and graffiti. And then we are going to apply, this is where I tell everybody that both books have their own, we're still doing clip art, we're still going to be doing clip art, but we're going to be doing it in a way that we're incorporating some very unconventional type things. So, let's, I'm just trying to look for one I get a really good, I think it may be under here. Okay, so we're going to do a cutout stencil art. Going to add that. Add this. Okay, so we're going back here. All right, so instead of this, we're going to add this. Now, I haven't taken any of the other off. We're going to go back, and then we're going to go to the overlaid with layered spray paint. Look, okay. And this is going to be a wildly different kind of look. Okay, so we've got that. We're going to go down here, and we're going to add this down here. And we're just going to see what it is. This is what I call painting or creating with words, art from words, painting with words, however you want to say it, drawing with words. But just like with anything else, the selection of those words and the placement of those words, like where they're located in a prompt, are going to make all the difference in your final outcome. So I'm interested to see what this is going to look like because, okay. So this did not turn out as bold or crazy as I thought it would. So let's go back and let's play with where we've got those placed. Let's see, cut out stencil. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to remove now the watercolor illustration. I'm going to leave the other watercolor, and we're going to take away the pencil effects down here that was in there. Fades into the washes. We're going to remove some of those elements and see if we can get a little bit more raw style from what we chose. And if we don't, I can always go back to the earlier progression, like back to the actual photographic image that Artistly created from the original um, inspiration photo. But for now, we're just going to play with this. And if you're still watching, that means you're really, really dedicated to learning the actual skill of prompting and how to make these. Okay, so we're getting a little bit more of that look. So let's all that can stay the same. Let's take away the tranquility and all of that, and let's move the overlay of spray paint up here to the top. Okay, so let's art overlaid with layers. Okay, there's what we need. Okay, because I'm always just looking for that thing that's going to set my images, my clip art apart from everyone else's. So I try doing them in interesting styles, interesting color combinations, interesting, just, interesting takes on things, I guess you would say, because I want to stand out. I don't want all of my stuff to look exactly, even if it's on a trending, okay. So this is that's actually very pretty. Still not very street arty, but yet the application of the street art elements to it have resulted in a very pretty look. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this one and just try it over for the sake of just experimentation. We're going to try it over in the image designer and see what those changes, how they have changed, what sort of result we would get um, with the fast designer. Okay, so we're gonna have to regenerate again, and let's go back and add back in our watercolor to the front. Wet on wet, and let's try it again. I really like all of these renditions of it, but it just goes to show you. Okay, so this is with fast, which is still a little bit more realistic-y, it's not as illustrative as I would like it. So I could go back in and I could definitely stencil art. Let's add illustration. Okay, I added some crazy there, so I added fairy tale on there just to see if it gives us a different look. My brain is crazy when it's involved in coming up with these different ways to tweak these prompts and ask for different things. I think sometimes I drive artistly a little bit crazy. Okay, should be coming up pretty soon. I don't know what's wrong with my internet. It has been really slow. Okay, so that's getting closer. I could isolate that and that would be a pretty image. I can also, if you can get it into this one where you can do the 4 images at a time. So we've got the surrounded by if I do this isolated against, if I do this and put it at the end now, let's try that. Okay. Okay. Let's see what these 4 images look like. If you can ever get the prompt refined to where it gives you, oh yeah. So now we're kind of getting into something here, something really interesting. Okay, let's try it one more time and see what we get. And if you wanted to just have the flower without the lilies, which would also be a really good thing, you could do that definitely, by just prompting it to do away with the bed of, um, but yeah, these are really cute too. A totally different look, but depending on what you want yours to look like, it's still very neat. So, another thing you could try is like, from the playbooks, you could go in and look for like chalky looks, some of the contour art and everything. But let's just look over some of these really remarkable, and then let's look at the image that this is where we started with this image, with this photograph. So that is really super cool. So I hope you've enjoyed learning a little bit more about mirror magic and what some of the things, an angle that you can use to create some new clip art with or some new art, and some of the positives. And so there's still a few drawbacks to it. And there still is a lot of experimentation to ever get to a really good. Very rarely do I luck up and just on the first snap, I've got it, I can just boom, 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 put them out. Every once in a while it happens, but most of the time you really work at it, and that's where your art comes in. And in the scheme of things, imagine if I ever start thinking that artistry is slow or that I'm not making things quick enough, I go back and remind myself what traditional artists have to do and how long it would take a traditional artist to create 20 images for a clip art pack, even 12 images for a clip art pack. It would literally take them a long time. And so we can't overlook that when we're actually using our tools. We're still being able to produce things so much faster. So if we have to pause or we have to do a little bit of multitasking and run out and check email while something's generating or whatever you do, don't get bogged down with it. Because if you get bogged down and you sit there and you stare at things, then you definitely are not using your time wisely. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you'll subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I hope you'll leave me a comment if you enjoyed it. And I hope that you'll check out all of the different products that I have links to down at my AI Artist Playbooks, Volume 1 and 2. There's a link to them. There's a link to my groups. Please join my group. I wanted to let you know about something a little bit different. I've had this website for quite a while, but I haven't really done as much as I wanted to with it. And so there's a YouTube channel that's going to be coming soon. And also there is a Facebook group that's coming soon. So stay tuned. But if you enjoy saving money and having fun at the same time, then I wanted to introduce you to, um, let's see, I wanted to introduce you to funandfrugalliving.com, and I will have a link down in the description so you can check it out. It's a really neat website or blog site with lots of information, and I hope you'll check it out. And if you're interested, I'll try to um, I'll try to do a video soon with just like an introduction to it. That'll have links on how you can follow the YouTube channel and join that Facebook group too, if this is an interest of yours. But I did want to share it with all my fantastic viewers. You all mean so much to me, and just a little over a year now with the channel, and we are approaching 1,000 subscribers. So share it with everybody you know. I'd love to hit that milestone really soon. And anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll just see you next time. Happy creating.